So ideally food and agriculture should be developed if we want to drive the well-being. So the concept of well-being should not be only limited of, first of all, the concept of health is very narrow concept. This should be broadened to the well-being, and from the well-being also, it should not only be well-being of humans, it should be well-being of human and nature. Like we have a saying in Hindi, जैसे खावे अन्न वैसा होवे मन. Because this entire society, entire humanity planet, actually whatever the steps which is being taken, actually there are two things. One is your ahar, and second is your vichar. And ahar or vichar impacts your vyavhar, which is acharan basically. So these two aspects, and of course your food is important to drive the right thoughts. Of course thoughts comes with the multiple other elements also in it, but let's say if we focus on the food, then what food should be taken? Ayurveda means what? Ayurveda means it's basically knowledge of life, that is what it is. So which clearly talks about there is sattvic food, which is food for nutrition, food for health, food also impact your spirituality, and there are so many change happened in last so many years that we actually forgotten the entire this wisdom which is available. Namaskar, my name is Prithwi Singh. I would introduce myself briefly. So I am born and brought up in a village near Jaipur in Rajasthan, and then I did my graduation in veterinary science from Bikaner. After that I did my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, and after that I worked mainly in multiple sectors of retail, consulting, etc. in different organizations, and then in 2016 we started this startup named Superjob. This mainly works in, the startup works in B2B e-commerce startup, which mainly works in supply chain of staples, which means the dry agri commodities, rice, pulses, spices, dry fruits. We procure directly from farmers across 14 states of the country, and we supply to small kirana stores in Mumbai. Idea is to deliver purity, basically food in its purest form, from farm to consumer's plate. That is idea behind this startup, and now we have expanded in multiple cities from there. So today discussing about the topic of discussion is how should we develop agriculture and food to drive holistic well-being of nature and humans. That is the talk of the topic of the talk. So ideally food and agriculture should be developed if we want to drive the well-being. So the concept of well-being should not be only limited of, first of all, the concept of health is very narrow concept. This should be broadened to the well-being, and from the well-being also, it should not only be well-being of humans, it should be well-being of human and nature together. If we look at this holistic approach, then only we will be able to reach to, we will be able to reach an harmonious relationship, and then the true health, nutrition, all these things will be taken care of. So basically food and agriculture both should be developed to drive three main objectives. The first objective is of course like well-being. So like we talked about that, we want to consume the food, and nowadays the agriculture and food is no more a different thing, because they are the one thing. If agriculture means the growing part of it, food is consuming part of it. We can't see these two separate. It is a one department. It is a one entire thought process. So basically to develop for three main objectives it should have. One is well-being. Second objective, if we want to drive the well-being, then it should have the system which produce the well-being should be self-sufficient. So self-sufficiency is very, very critical objective of this should be there. When we think about self-sufficiency, then self-sufficiency of village level unit, let's say this is the smallest growing unit which we can think of as a society level. Of course, individual farm is there, but we can't think of individual farm self-sufficiency. Let's think of a village level self-sufficiency. And third thing should be, so you have the two answer. One is what should be objective one, which is well-being. What should be objective two, means it is self-sufficient, and third should be sustainable also. It cannot be self-sufficient for shorter period of time. It has to be sustainable. So I think these are the three main objectives, which entire food and agriculture should be geared towards achieving it. And to achieve all three together, it can only be achieved by embracing, traditional practices. And when I say why traditional practices again, because here I want to say because they prioritize local resources. So one is prioritizing local resources, very, very important when you want to achieve self-sufficiency, let's say, and sustainability. Second is community participation is important. When we think of community participation, then we think of only community at the village level only. But when we, like I said, agriculture and food is one holistic topic. So in the urban centers also community participation can come, So the community participation, and third is ecological balance about this. So these should be the prime objectives towards this entire food and agriculture talk should be, moving towards. And so thought process is how to achieve this. Like I said, traditional practices. And let's not think about the traditional practices in one aspect only. Let's think about what are the multiple aspects of Bharatiya wisdom available, to achieve these objectives. So I would put it into again three. How should we do it? So if I want to do this, then what is the framework of the thought process? How we will achieve it? So if I put, according to me, there is a three key aspects to achieve these. The first key aspect is what food, what will grow, what is the right food. Second aspect would be how we will grow that food. And the third aspect would be about, again, the sustainability aspect of it. If we know what to grow, how to grow, then how should we make the system which is sustainable to achieve these two aspects of achieving the objective of it. So there is lot of, like we have a saying in, Hindi, jaise khave ann waisa hove man, because this entire society, entire humanity planet, actually whatever the steps which is being taken, actually there are two things. One is your ahar, and second is your vichar. And ahar or vichar impacts your vyavhar, which is acharan basically. So these two aspects, and of course your food is important to drive the right thoughts. Of course thoughts comes with the multiple other elements also in it, but let's say if we focus on the food, then what food should be taken? So there are a lot of Bharatiya knowledge available, Bharatiya wisdom available in things there, which is what food should be taken. And mainly if I keep reading about it, there are three important aspects. That one is a seasonality of the food, which is critical, because you can't take every food throughout, your say year. So food should be as per the season, so to drive the well-being of it. Second it should be as per location also, so typical example is we can see different kind of oil, edible oil which is consumed, if you will see, so we operate in a category which is staples category, and we think, say, oil, pulses. So pulses, for example, Maharashtra, Gujarat, you will have more tur dal which people consume, but if you will go to Rajasthan, more moong dal, chana dal would be there. And similarly oil, somewhere mustard oil is more, somewhere say in the north east, if you go to mustard oil is important. So these things were, over the time developed, and because of two reasons. One is agroclimatic condition in which the particular food is grown so that it is self-sustainable, and second is accordingly human race evolved to it. Our entire biological system, become very friendly to that and gives a lot of benefit to it. So location is very important in it. season we know what food should be taken in say summer, what food should be taken in winter, and then according to situation also, food works as a medicine also. So I would not go in detail of it, but I think there is a sufficient knowledge available. That knowledge should be taken, and that knowledge should be utilized to achieve the goal of what food we should take. And there is Ayurveda. Ayurveda means what? Ayurved means it's basically knowledge of life, that is what it is. So which clearly talks about there is sattvic food, which is food for nutrition, food for health, food also impact your spirituality. And there are so many change happened in last so many years that we actually forgotten the entire this wisdom which is available. Cow ghee is considered such a good thing about it. People said that fat is not good. Now again coming back, when modern science is saying there is a good fat, there is a bad fat. So it means every time it is being proven that those knowledge which was available, which were true, somewhat forgotten, they should be brought back, they should be utilized to drive this. And I think this will be a very important, now the generation which is coming, now the time period which is coming, when the diseases is so much of prevalent, lifestyle diseases is there are so many at the mass scale, epidemics happening, endemics happening. These are the diseases which are coming. There is no other way rather than only going with the harmonious way of taking the right food. So one is that. The second is, so there would be spices, herbs which are available, the food as a medicine. So entire this knowledge is available. So where is the problem then? If the knowledge is available, and if there is a need which is there, so it means there is a knowledge one side, there is a need another side, but still it is not happening. It is not happening as per the scale with which it should happen. What are the issues? And I think the issue is, now as a society, now as a government organization or as individual or industry, where it should focus. So I would come to the basic concepts. What is the difference between invention and innovation? Invention means which is a very novel concept. So you invent something which is people don't know. Good thing about this, that it is already invented thousands of years ago. So we don't, that's a difficult part actually, because when you invent something, you need to do lot of research into it. It takes a lot of time. You are not sure whether you will achieve the result or not. It's a very it's something like moving in the dark, and you don't know how many, when light will be visible. So that is a difficult part, but good thing is difficult part is already done by thousands of years ago, in the continuous process. So what is lacking is innovation. Difference between invention and innovation is that how do you make invention as useful, and let's put it the newer word, industrial word, commercialization of it, which is innovation. So now it is a time for this entire Bharatiya wisdom, which is invented thousands of years ago, to be innovated as per the current needs. So that is what is the key approach which should be. We know this is what we need to fill, because whosoever was there are Ayurveda were there, or the entire traditional medicine were there, everything was invented, and of course they were invented and innovated at that period of time, but those invention won't work if it is not fitting into the current market dynamics, current needs, which means it has to be innovated again. So if we say we have everything and we just will tell people to use it, it's not going to work. If it will work in a very small scale, it will work on a very, that's where this entire innovation approach should come into this, and when I talk about it, then what are the issues? Let's talk about it. Suppose for example Ayurveda is there, or let's say the Bharatiya lifestyle, or say well-being, we want to do that, then what are the issues, why it's not happening? Let's focus on say innovation part of it. I am not focusing on invention part of it, because that's already available, lot of people working in it, and very good thing is that nowadays those things are coming out. So being a startup, I always focus on that, why people will use it, and if they are not using it, what should be done so that they use it. So I see this, one is, let's take organic food, So organic food, everybody say that we should eat organic food, but still everybody know about it also. But why it is not happening at the mass scale? One side farmers are there who are growing and they are saying we are not getting the market to it. Where should I sell? Another side, if you go to consumer, I want to eat healthy food, I am not getting it. Whereas both are maybe, one is just a village outside Ahmedabad, another is city in that. Both are there, they know also, there is platforms also, it's still not happening. It is not happening because there are these issues. So let's address these issues one by one. Let's see how these issues will be taken. The first issue is when I talk about organic food, सर हम देखते हैं ऑर्गेनिक फूड कॉस्ट बहुत ज़्यादा है, इसका महंगा बहुत है, अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते, so that is truth. So cost is very high. Why cost is very high? One is of course the regulations, the government regulations, there is licensing, there are so many issues in it, which is the one part of it, but a very small part of it, but still it is there. The second is the model which will take this entire Bharatiya knowledge. I am talking about not only organic food, let's take Ayurveda, let's take whatever, these things which are invented and very useful. There is no doubt, nobody is saying this is not useful. Even if the people who don't trust it, in the COVID times, they were also taking, golden latte. So it is well accepted. So it is not happening at the scale which the Western world bought, which is more of industrial scale. I don't think that will work in country like India. I think we need to think on the scale at decentralized scale level, which means it is decentralized at the core. Each farmer can take care of the farm very well. Farm holdings are very, very small. So it is that, but the model should be the decentralized one level and scale at the another level. So that, the purity is maintained, the quality is maintained, and the way which we are talking about, that food was not grown, the invention was not meant to be done at the scale level in the growing side. It was anyway very decentralized. So the decentralized of invention part would be retained and the distribution part has to be at the scale level because of the current population and lot of other things like world is globalized and all that. And if we'll focus on that, it will happen. So for example, the cost is the part which will be addressed, because if you say organic food and then there is a actual cost of the growing part of it, which will address how should food be grown and how should reduce the cost. So one is a cost to be at the distribution side. The growing side also, there are a lot of aspects which we will discuss about it. Second is about the reach. If I want to have a good organic food, I am not able to get it easily. And if I am able to get it, yesterday I was talking of one of the delegates, they grow the organic food, and I said that they stay near Jaipur, and I said, why don't you supply in the large scale? They say, if you reduce the price, people think it is not pure. The trust issue is very big in this, because so many spuriousness has come into it. So then what should be done? And that's where again the model of innovation in the distribution side should come. And when I talk about the innovation, the two big aspects, marketing and finance, these are the two aspects which has to be thought through about the invention which was done thousands of years ago. You pick up any part of Indic wisdom and think on it, whether there is a current needs is there. Yes, it is there. What to do fulfilling that financing and marketing aspect is there or not? Almost not there. So the physical trust system should be built. For example, a lot of government does that for the farmers market they set up in the city centers. I stay in Mumbai. In the Mumbai, if you will go South Mumbai, there is a farmer market. Farmers come from the villages. They set up one day in a week. They set up their own fruits, vegetables, and they sell it, which is what is very good thing, which is physical system. So same should be done for the organic food. Same should be done for, say, Ayurveda. Whatever the Indic knowledge, the Bharatiya knowledge is there, whatever the product which is there or services which is there should be physical center should be there which can be branded as authentic, of course with the society and the government organization. And once that would come, then automatically people will trust, okay, it is cheap, but still it is authentic, So that would address the problem of the cost. For example, the organic food stall in, say, Indus University, once in a, say, month when people want to buy, kind of thing. So So that would make people believe that okay, this is pure and it is cheaper also and it is affordable. So once you start this entire cycle, virtuous cycle of demand kicking in, once demand kicks in, the supply will automatically come, you know. So supply will find out the ways to reach to demand. Only thing is today demand is whether it is not there or if it is there, it is latent. So we need to do act on it, and that's what we are also building this entire technology based supply chain, where basically it's a kind, sort of pipe which we are building. Once you have the pipe ready, then whatever product you fit into that, that product will reach to the end site. You know, that's what is a transforming the supply chain of it. The second thing which needs to be thought about is now we see India has done a lot of mass scale innovation because of technology. Nobody could thought of like, you know, entire Aadhaar, you know, which is completely India's tech, I would put it. It's a massive innovation which happened at the scale, which is invention, I would say, not only innovation here, you know, but let's call it say innovation, because I would not say that somebody didn't know how to code it. People knew how to code it, but how to do that scaling of it. UPI, entirely financial system changed. Western world said that they brought crypto, India brought UPI. You know, crypto is still waiting to grow, UPI is already in so many countries, you know, financial systems. So this one has to, tech based solution should come, and there is a blockchain system is available today which can give you the trust, you know. At the scale level, the blockchain can be implemented, which is again should be, but it should be open source. That is the key to it, and that's where the government should play part, because government can only create. So what is the role of government? To create regulation and infrastructure, rest everything else will happen. And tech infrastructure is a very big infrastructure. So like UPI they did it, Aadhaar they did it, it's tech based infrastructure. For Indic system also, the tech based open source infrastructure should be there. Blockchain is now there. What is blockchain? It means that you trust it, right? You know, so the source is growing. If it can be trusted, that it can reach demand, and then physical, what I'm saying is, of course one part can be easily done, but this can completely transform. It can reach to anywhere in the world, wherever, and I think this is what is going to happen. The third, which is important issue which I want to highlight, is a communication. You know, we have a master communicator today in India, Prime Minister. You know, he communicates the things in so nice way that people just change their outlook, you know, and then they start believing in it, you know. So there is modern ways of communication needs to be adapted. You know, there was no word like millet, so now there is three, and the word is for the millet. We knew bajra is there, jawar is there, but nothing like called millet. We also, you know, and then entire 4 P's of marketing which you talk about product. So you should focus on, this is the product which is a great product. It should be packaged and presented in right way. So for example, we focus on a lot of millets, you know, we procure a lot of millet, we supply millet. Then now we are doing value added in it. So we are now, there is dosa which is going. So best breakfast nowadays is not dosa. Dosa is not only the South Indian breakfast anymore, it's Indian breakfast, right? So now we are thinking, okay, we will give millet based dosa better, because housewife don't have time in the morning. They need to prepare the kids, they need to do their own thing, they need to go for office also. So convenience is an important aspect which will change, transform the industry. So then how do? You make the dosa better and you just sell directly. So if there is some players who are doing it, you can do millet based dosa which is helpful. People eat chilla, you know, which is made of besan. So we are thinking to make from sprouted chana chilla. So these are innovations, you know, jawar dosa better. So these are the things which needs to be thought about it. It should be packaged, it should be presented in a manner which is acceptable to the consumer. We can't say consumer, you change your behavior. Of course, some people will change the way we communicate, but let's think on this as a challenge, that if we are right, we can be right, but we don't have a right to tell that you are wrong, you know, because the moment you will tell that, customer will say, okay, I don't care. And even if it is good, the challenge is how should we innovate in such a fashion that people accept it, and of course it becomes industry end of the day. Because earlier systems were there were temple economies were there, actually they were also economy. So this is what is, I think, very important. Modern food styles, it should be adapted to that. So what food should be taken, that is what it is there, but how it should be adapted, I think that is what where need to be thought about it. The second part which I would come to is how this food should be grown. That's where again the knowledge is available. So I would not harp upon to say that, what is right way to grow. Already yesterday I had heard a lot of eminent speakers who are doing wonderful job, They are growing organic food, they are doing a lot of transformations which is happening, and there is knowledge available, there is a crop calendar available, there is a indigenous knowledge available, when crop should be. So my father was farmer and I used to go in childhood to village and in farm, and he would look at the soil and he'll say अभी 5 दिन बाद में बुआई करेंगे, अभी टाइम नहीं आया है, मिट्टी को देख के. He had that kind of wisdom available, which is what it is, and he knew where is a water there, so he never used that, and he never failed. When he'll say water will be available here, he will look at the soil and actually, I wish that knowledge could have been codified and understood, which is gone, kind of thing. So that knowledge is, and now we are trying to have, so now I take the latest machinery and try to get that accuracy 70% only, and 70 means remaining 30 always fails, which is 70 is I don't know where it succeeded, kind of thing, which is as simple as the probability theory. I would not say it's a but the earlier when my father used to do, he used to be 100% successful. So there was a wisdom available. So that is available, that needs to be codified, that has to be research, has to go into it. Traditional crop variety should come, so which is what we are promoting. Millets, everybody are aware about it, so how crop calendar should be there. Again, I would not get into the invention part of it. I would focus more on innovation part of it. Invention is there, what crop calendar should be there, what traditional crop variety should be grown. There is millets, we promote millets, we promote traditional varieties of wheat, traditional varieties of say rice. Today India has 2000 varieties of rice. Still we are consuming 2-3 varieties. Green revolution was really good, great, because that time it was need to feed people. Rather than importing something, it's good to grow. But what it has done, side effect was it has monocultured everything, which means the diversity has gone. So biodiversity, so we promote biodiversity, we do that multiple varieties of this entire traditional the rice comes, wheat comes, and then of course millet is there. For example, Indrayani rice comes from Nasik, or say I don't know how many people in Gujarat knows there is a Krishna Kumud rice, which is hardly anybody new generation would know how it is grown, and it's a costly rice. It is costly because there is no demand to it, and hence it's not actually cost was there, but because few people grow and it's not available, so that's what it is. There is an entire Govindbhog rice, there is one go Ambe Mohar, there are Mata rice in south. So many varieties of rice as per the agroclimatic condition which suits that kind of situations. Other than the basmati which is marketed, the entire kolam, basmati market segment is only 5 to 10%. Kolam is 90 to 85 to 90%, which is not marketed in a way it should be done. It has, and then there is, for example, this entire kolam. If you eat kolam, it is easy to digest faster rather than basmati, but it is not promoted. So that is what. Third is about organic farming itself. So that's where again I will say that today the knowledge of organic farming is there. Again, it is in the Ayurveda is like for eating, Vraksha Ayurveda is for growing, because cost of organic farming is high. Why? Because manure takes 3 months to do that. You use the organic farmer, which was Surapal, was thousands of year wrote 350 Sanskrit sutras which mentioned liquid manure concept, which can be prepared in 3 days at the mass scale. That can be done, and that will promote organic farming in larger scale, reduce the cost, and it can be really transformed. Traditional seeds which has to be preserved. And then sustainability part, which is third part, which is again conservation of natural resources. A lot of good work is doing for that. Communication at the scale level needs to be there. Community based farming. Urban center, how do you do that? There is societies. Each society can have its own farm on the top, at the roofs, which rooftops are empty, right? At least for the seasonal crops can be grown there, and that can be promoted, kind of thing. Like village can grow its own small things. This can be done because rooftop is completely available in the entire city. Solar is being used. It can be used for farming also. The modern ways of farming. So what I would say is I will have 3 recommendations in the broad way. If I put it in nutshell in the entire talk, we need to build ecosystem to promote it. That's what it is. And when I say ecosystem, it will have 3 element to it. One is academia, which is part of education and research. Education is important because future researchers comes from the students. So education system should have part of this entire Indic knowledge, and research should be there to have acceptability as per the modern norms. So whatever is there, invention was there, let's fit into the modern ways of proving it. Maybe there are multiple ways which is to do. Research papers should come into it, and it should be international level research paper, because if the truth is there, truth can test any kind of exam. Whatever you have the practice of that, whatever the science norms of there, whatever we know, let's pass them through quickly. We know it is anyway true, it's the easy things to do. So I know if it is true, I just need to pass the exam. I know what is going to come in the exam. Still, if I can't pass, then it means I am not willing to pass it, as simple as that. And if you'll say no, send me the next class, I won't pass this exam, this is not going to work. We need to be innovative as the current system of thoughts, that okay, these are the ecosystem which is there, which has this approach of passing the exam. Let's take this Indic wisdom to pass this exam of modern exams, which means acceptabilities, ways of science, which is today is there, empirical evidence based science, which people are doing. A lot of wonderful work is happening, but I think it should come as a scale level. So academia is a very important thing which should be there at the all level, and research center is a very important thing which should think on the modern ways to bring that at par. And then over the time the system would also change. Exam curriculums also change, exam patterns also change, so they'll also change. Till the time they don't change, we need to pass that, right? So that's what it is. The second is about the regulations part of it, which means that's where the government comes in the play, that they should make the regulations, change the regulations in food and medicine. I would give one simple example. There are, the bhang is used as a medicine, as kind of pain reliever. People used to take it, it is very good for the mind also, kind of thing, stress reliever kind of thing. But it was said it's a bad thing to consume bhang. It is bad thing to consume ganja. It may be bad thing at the scale level, but at the medicinal level it may not be bad. And now a lot of startups are coming and they are doing it. In Tata Memorial, research is going on. It's proven also that it is now accepted as a medicine also. Which, and good thing about this is there is no side effect to it. If you take chemical compositions, there is side effect to it. So medicines are being used in the cancerous therapies. So which is available as in that, but it has to come in again innovation. Difference between invention and innovation. I'll always say invention was done by somebody, innovation should be done by us. So we have the upon us, it is our duty, and not only our duty, it is about the survival of humanity. You don't have option. Either you die or you just survive. So there is nothing like option to it. So it means not only the duty, it is about the way we need to do that. And third thing, about the promoting industry and startups. So ecosystem has three parts. One is academia, second is about the regulation which comes into the government norm, and third is about industry. Without economy, nothing will flourish. Like for the solar ecosystem, sun rays plays the part. For human ecosystem, money plays the part. The same, it is money is that sun rays. So it means industry has to be there as per the Bharatiya knowledge. So there should be dedicated startup fund which targets the Indic lifestyles. There should be, the startup should not, incubation fund at the university level should be there. That go and commercialize it, try it and commercialize it, try it and see the uses. Because like simply said, if you are not going to spend money on it, nowadays the modern system says it's not worth it. It may not be worth, but the way the commercialization has happened, the lifestyle currently it is there, it's a completely self-centered world has become, which starts with earlier education system at that level where society impacted, then family system, it becomes self-centered. Now individual system, you see identity crisis. So we cannot negate this. This is a reality. So it means there is a reality. So if you want to see the gap, you need to see reality also. Then only you will know what is the gap. And for that, this entire industry, startups, should be promoted, should be funded, and accelerator programs. Not only that, the established industries, it should be, I think if all these three come together, then only this entire ecosystem would be developed. And good thing about it that this is going to happen. Nobody is going to change, because this is cycle and it's a cyclical. The human or the nature is cyclical, so cycle is turning around. It is anyway doing it. We can do it, we can do our bit to it. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.